episode, we'll get tips and advice on what to do in a struggling relationship coming up. Yes, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Mel, your host of the Love Manual. Today, I'm going to have the pleasure of speaking with Mr. John Weiman, who is a relationship and marriage counselor. Please help me welcome him to the show. Hey, John.
Hey, Mel, how you doing?
I'm good.
How are you?
I'm good. How you doing today?
If I were any better, I'd be you.
Ah, that's nice to know, John.
I'm trying to be.
Yes. So, I was so excited when I knew that I was going to have the opportunity to have you on this show. But for people that don't know John Weiman, please tell them a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Oh, wow. Okay. How long do we have? Years ago, I got into this field. I worked in a long-term psych hospital, and I was lucky enough to work under the mentorship of a guy by the name of Dr. James Masterson, who was known throughout the world for narcissistic personality disorder. And through a course of events, after working at the hospital for about 9 years, I had to leave and to start a family, and moved away from New York. And I've always said everyone has a story and everyone has a dream. And if you mess with either one of them, you end up talking to me.
That's a good one.
And it was always my dream to be in this field. My mom was a therapist, and I remember us talking, and she said, "John, you have a gift." And I was like, "Mom, well, what are you talking about?" And she said, "Well, you see people. You can truly see people." And I don't think I ever really understood what she meant by that. And I guess now, doing what I've been doing for about 10 years in this area, I think I do. But basically what happened was, when I left the hospital, I moved from New York to Baltimore. We started a family, and I was married for 14 years. That didn't work. Looking back through my own work, we weren't a good match. And during that time of divorce, I call it my dark period. Divorce happened. My mom, who was my hero, and really the reason we're talking today now, and a close friend of mine got killed. So I went on a road where I ate too much, slept too much, and drank too much. And that was 14 years ago. I was diagnosed with cirrhosis and given 2 months to live. And I walked out of the hospital, and I thought, what do I do? And I thought, if I can be half as strong as my mom, I'll be okay. And that was 14 years ago. And as life started to get better, I met Sherry, and decided I wanted to get back into this field. And I realized that, well, my marriage failed, so this area I started to focus on, and found the Gottman Institute. And I completed my training at the Gottman Institute, which is really known as the best. And then I basically hung my shingle out, and that was almost 10 years ago. And I found that the typical 50-minute model, I don't believe that works. Research indicates it takes about 6 years of a problem to come and make an appointment with a marriage counselor or relationship counselor. So I developed a model where I charge per session, not per hour. Typically, sessions go somewhere around 3 hours, somewhere around there, and it allows the couple to get better quicker. My results say within about a month, things are significantly better. In addition to the session, both people in the relationship have access to talk to me at any time between sessions, and if we talk for an hour, it's included. Today, I had one session, and that was at 3 o'clock. I was on the phone since 7 o'clock this morning.
Wow.
And and back to why all this works is, as I got healthier, I developed the drive to do this. And I'm proud to say tomorrow, Troy, who is, I call him my liver from liver transplant, is 11 months. I got my transplant 11 months ago.
Wow.
And life's good. We live on the water, and all my blood work is good. And it's just great to love life. And, I run into a lot of people that have, problems like this that they have to overcome. So Troy's proud of me. Troy and I didn't get along our first night together when I woke up from the surgery, and I said, we got to talk. And, we got to get along here if we're going to be living together, kind of like husband and wife. And
that's cute. I can't believe you named it.
Troy and I are good. So we're best friends.
Good for you, John. Good for you. So,
thank you.
I mean, I know that you're the marriage and relationship counselor. Let me ask you a quick question. Why do you think that infidelity takes place in a relationship in the first place?
Okay. Infidelity is it's a sign that something is wrong in the relationship. The party is looking for something that they're not getting, and it kind of happens by accident, but there's research to show that often after the loss of a job or the death of a loved one or something, people go in search of, is there something more out there? And it's kind of Russian roulette. I spoke to someone last week, and the guy was really scared. He said to me, John, where we are, I'm just scared that something can happen to either one of us where we fall into that trap. They're aware of it, and it happens now. What it does is, what I've learned is, it does two things when they fall. It meant something to the betrayer. It definitely meant something. It may not have been real, but it meant something. It gave them something they weren't getting. Validation, I mean, that in some way, maybe that they were good, they were a good person, or they were beautiful, or whatever it was, they were given that. And that's on one side. On the other side is what it did to the identity of the one who was betrayed, because they realized that they're no longer that one anymore. It's really, it makes them question everything. So it's takes a lot of work, and that's why I deal, probably I'll say 75% of what I do is infidelity, and there's no way you can do 50 minutes and say, oh really, Mel, you're saying something important, I need your credit card.
Right.
That just doesn't work. And believe it or not, and I'm proud to say you met one of my couples who.
Absolutely. I was going to talk about them at the end, John.
Okay. Okay. All right. I love Solly and Leslie. I'll just say that.
Absolutely. And I love the model that you have as far as not paying by hour, but paying by session, because one session is not enough. I mean, 1 hour is not enough, should I say. So your session also includes calls, which I think is really important because it's letting them know that you are available for them and no matter what.
Yes, exactly. I've received calls at 2:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And that call I was on till 6 a.m.
Oh my goodness.
So it's
And oh, that's amazing.
this is their life. I'll never forget. I had a couple once. He was a psychoanalyst and she was a clinical psychologist.
Uh-huh.
And she said to me, John, you don't affect lives, you affect generations. And that really hit me, that, you know, the best gift you can give your children is for your relationship to be good and be strong. So that stayed with me, and they're doing well, by the way. And that was a few years ago.
I'm gonna have to. No, but that's good though. That statement is a true statement. Someone like you come into some one's life and fix the family at the beginning, you know, will definitely affect the youth that they're trying to raise in a positive household. So how does one recover or bounce back from the broken trust after the infidelity?
The person who did the betraying is they are just dying for the person to get it, you know, get past it. And I've always given the example, it's kind of like the betrayer is in a pool and they're saying, please come swimming with me, please. And the betrayed person says, no, there's no way I'm going into that pool. The last time I went into that pool with you, I drowned. And what the betrayer needs to do is, trust is built in small steps. And it's just basically doing what they said, having open access, having depths of communication that they never had before. There has to be a level of honesty that comes out. And, you know, I'm a big Brene Brown fan, and, you know, the vulnerability is critical to making it work, where the conversations have to be really, really long and loving, and truthful. More importantly, truthful. That's probably the most important thing.
Absolutely. I agree. Like once that happens, you definitely have to have that open access policy in order for the other partner to say, okay, well, maybe they're trying, maybe this will work. But at what point in a marriage or a relationship would you suggest counseling?
You know, I probably I don't worry, and I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I don't worry about the couples I see. I worry about the ones I don't, because it takes a lot of courage to do this. And, you know, when I do this session model, a lot of times I'll ask questions and it'll be like, so, you know, in infidelity, what made you cross the line?
Right.
And they say, well, I don't know, I don't know. I was having a few drinks and, I don't know what made me do it. And my response to them is, that's okay. I can wait for your answer. And, in terms of getting them there, again, it takes 6 years of a problem to make an appointment. If you see problems before, it's just so much easier. It's so much easier. Unfortunately, most of the people I see have contacted lawyers.
Okay. Okay, so they already passed. They feel like they already passed the counseling part, huh?
Yeah, good part of them have, and
Yeah.
they, or the D word has
Oh
been
yeah.
used.
Mm.
I've never used the D word in a session. I won't use it. I won't use it. It's not my role.
Mm.
So if that's something they want to do, then
Yeah.
that's their choice. But we also do something on that called this discernment counseling as well. But um, they have to do the work. If they do the work that, believe it or not, science and data has shown,
Hmm.
um, the marriage will work and they will have closeness and intimacy like they've never had before.
Right.
Um, they just have to be willing to do the work.
Yeah, absolutely. So in your line of work, who do you see I guess cheating more or being unfaithful more, men or women?
Um, I'm gonna say something that's gonna get me in trouble. I promise you.
Okay, you better be careful, buddy.
when when men cheat, I say to the man, "How could you do that?" And
Uh-huh.
when the woman cheat, I say to the man, "How could you neglect her so much she had to do that?" um, and yes, I'm kidding, but there's a little bit of truth in that.
Uh-huh,
There's a
sure.
little bit of truth that um, it's my experience that men cheat because they can, because someone tells them they're good or something, and women cheat for connection because the connection is lost.
Hmm.
Uh, so um, it's. I mean, my experience is more men do than women, but I wouldn't want to say it's significantly different. Number of like 75-25. It's I mean, who knows? I mean, I think probably more men do, but um, the the break in the marriage. And by the way, the victim of infidelity
Hmm.
is not always the victim in the marriage. And you
Oh,
have to think about that. The victim of infidelity is not always the victim in the marriage.
wow, John.
That's very. And before I get questioned on that,
Yeah,
a
that's
woman by the name of
go.
Esther Perel, a woman by
Okay.
the name of Esther Perel said that.
Okay. So John said, listen, okay, it's not me, it's her. Well, that was a good statement though, because it's really true. Like you said, I mean, oh my goodness. Sometimes the victim you said the victim
The
that,
victim of infidelity
uh-huh.
is not always the victim in the marriage.
Wow.
In other words, I'll tell you, there's three things that happen. We make what's called bids for connection, and we make them every day. Bids can be subtle or they can be blatant. And I'll give you a textbook example, and then I'll give you an example from my marriage. And I promise you, Mel, you'll call me an idiot. and,
No, I doubt it.
well, I called myself one.
Okay.
um, these bids for connection. So we live on the water. My wife can say, "Oh, nice boat going by."
Hmm.
Well, there's three things that can happen. You can turn toward the bid, turn away from the bid, or turn against the bid.
Hmm.
And turning toward the bid, all I have to do is look and go, "Yeah, yeah, nice boat," or "Yeah, boat, I see it." I
Hmm.
don't even have to agree with her that it's nice. I just have to, she's not saying it to hear herself speak.
Right.
She's saying it because she wants to share that with me. She wants to connect on that. As subtle as that is,
Hmm.
it's a bid.
Right.
The other example is, look at that boat going by, and I'm buried in Facebook. Huh? Oh, look at that. Yeah, I could care less what she said. I'm not paying attention. And
Uh-huh.
she's there. That's called turning away. And she's there feeling very subtly alone.
Right.
And then there's, look at that boat going by. And I get mad at her. And I say, can't you see I'm trying to read a work email here? I don't need to look at that stupid boat. And
Mm-hmm.
that's called turning against. And the live example is my wife says to me one day, ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted to go to Niagara Falls. My answer, went there as a kid, nothing special, and walked away. I
Oh,
walked up the
oh.
stairs and I saw her shoulders shrug as I walked by.
Uh-huh.
And I got to the top of the stairs and I called myself an idiot and I came down and I said, of course we'll go. Of course we'll go. So here's what the research says. Here's
Oh,
what the research says about this.
uh-huh.
Couples who turn toward their bids 86% of the time, which is not all the time, and no one has a calculator, but you know if it's happening most of the time. You know it.
Right.
Those couples that do it about 86% of the time are very, very happy.
Mm-hmm.
Couples who turn toward each other's bids only 33% of the time end up divorcing. And what the bids do is it's called fill your emotional bank account.
Mm.
And if my account is empty because I've turned toward all her bids, I'm giving her the emotional money.
Uh-huh.
I've done that and she hasn't turned toward my bids.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not turning toward hers anymore. I'm not doing that. I don't have any money left to do it.
Right.
So it's really dangerous. And what happens is in infidelity,
Uh-huh.
someone else fills that emotional bank account.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
So they have to, the bank will go out of business if it's not filled.
Right. Ooh,
So
good way
that
to put it.
it happens, and we make them. We make 10 bids a day, easy,
Wow.
easy. And there's very subtle. And as a colleague of mine once said, John, it's really hard to turn towards these bids because you have to identify them first.
That's
And
true.
yeah, one of the problems is we identify our own. We don't identify our partners. So when we
Mm-hmm.
don't identify our partners, we build resentment because we know the ones we're making and whether he or she is turning toward or away.
Right.
We don't recognize our partners. We don't recognize that. So,
That is really something, and it's
yeah,
important to, I guess, acknowledge your partner's bids and know when they're trying to connect, subtly. How you say it.
yeah. Mel, there's this great movie on tonight.
Right. And I would say, oh, really? What is it?
That's turning toward.
And
Exactly. There you go.
yes.
That, Now, if you said, I'm not in the mood for TV, that would be
Right.
turning away.
Absolutely. Or if I was just like, you know what? I don't care about a stupid movie right now. I'm trying to read, right?
Yes, turning against. Exactly.
John, that is really good information. And you know what? A lot of people probably don't even realize that.
Yeah,
That's good.
it's very, and all of a sudden they grow tired and they're not connected. You,
Yeah.
you know, in the way I was trained, this thing bids for connection
Mm-hmm.
is probably, in my opinion, the single most important thing
Yep.
that makes it work.
Yeah.
It really is
Very important to acknowledge.
very important,
Mm-hmm.
very important.
That's
Because
good.
I'm telling you, as I said, their emotional bank account is gonna get filled.
Yeah. I
Just
like that.
where do you want to get it filled from? Because they need the money. They don't want their bank to close.
Absolutely. And you don't want anybody else filling up that bank account, right?
That's right. That's right.
Look at you. So, what advice and tips would you give, listeners that are like struggling in their relationship?
the single most important thing in terms of struggle and listening is people listen to reply. They do not listen to understand. And there's a big difference in, as people are talking, immediately what they're doing is scanning to find out what they're disagreeing with.
Right.
Instead of trying to understand and understand what the other person is saying. And they're so focused on their own needs that if they listen to their partner's needs and try to understand it, it probably will hit their needs as well. You and I have talked about 69% of conflict in relationships is called perpetual conflict.
Yes.
And it's the history of your position in the argument, discussion, whatever you want to call it. It's a history of your position long before you two ever met. Right. So naturally, Mel, I think I'm right and you're wrong. But I don't, if I listen to reply to you, I'm going to tell you you're wrong or I disagree. Mm-hmm. I am not taking the time to understand why you feel the white lights or the colored lights on the Christmas tree, as we talked about, are so important to you.
Yeah.
The listeners may not understand that, but we had a great fight about the Christmas tree.
So, in other words, okay, so if I'm saying, oh no, I like the white lights, and I'm saying this, take time out to listen to why I like the white lights.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, why do you like the white lights on the tree, Mel?
Yeah, they're bright, John. They're brighter than the other ones.
Brighter than, okay. Well, can we put the tree in the corner? Because I your white lights, I grew up with colored lights, and you like the tree in the corner, and maybe if we can kind of meet together.
Yes.
I'm okay with the white lights. If the tree in the corner, that to me, if you want to understand, that's what family was. I remember our family, all of my brothers and sisters, we were around the tree in the corner. Mm-hmm. And, it just, and I guess the white lights for you were what you remember as Christmas.
Right.
And I want us both to have a good Christmas. Oh, so, and maybe next year we can change it.
Yes. And compromise is key, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's figuring it out.
Well, you are, so amazing, and I've heard, some testimonies and everything from, your couple. So I'm going to actually have them on my next episode, which I'm so excited about because I want them to tell me what John did for them. I did get some, bits and pieces, but I need the audience and the viewer, the listeners, I really need them to hear how you work because you're amazing. So if people are trying to find you, where can they locate you, John?
My website is lifebridgecoaching.com.
Okay.
I'm on Instagram, life_bridge_coaching_. Mm-hmm. And let me see, I'm on John Weiman. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook. I'm on Life Bridge Coaching. There's a water scene. Okay. I answer any questions same day. I'd love to work with anyone that would be interested. Mm-hmm. Now, am I allowed, Mel, to brag about Solly and Leslie for a little bit?
You can brag about Solly and Leslie because I'm going to have them on. They are just too sweet. So just tell them a little bit because we don't want to give them too much until they come on.
Okay. Solly and Leslie, for your listeners, I can't tell you how much one, as a marriage counselor, but they have become dear friends. We will be friends for life. I admire Solly. It was a case of infidelity, mm-hmm. And And what Solly and both of them did, they're incredible people. And if you're faced with a challenge in your marriage,
Mm-hmm.
listen to Solly and Leslie. They are, when I had my transplant, Solly was one of the first people I talked to after.
Wow.
He's, his story is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
I have husbands that I work with call Solly, and Solly has been and will be helpful forever. He's all, as you know, Mel.
Oh my goodness, John. Sally and Leslie are an amazing couple. Just the, the conversations that I've had with them, I'm like, and don't, I mean, of course you want to give them, the credit for sticking through and doing it, but definitely give yourself the credit, because Leslie couldn't believe the turnaround. And without you, that wouldn't have happened.
Well,
Without you and, your support, and of course, making sure that they were ready for that next step of, getting back together and trying to mend, the broken trust and all of that. John, kudos to you.
well,
Really.
thank you. I can confess I've never felt comfortable about that. I just, I really do admire everyone that I've seen. They do the work. They do the work, and all I do is just provide the environment and the framework. But it's incredible to watch, and Leslie and Sally's story is
Amazing.
I mean, it should be on the news worldwide because
Yeah,
it's
absolutely. They should be the face, right? Of,
yes.
you can get over that. You can get
Oh,
over infidelity.
I thought they were the face of the love
Oh, you go. Very good.
manual.
We're gonna have to give them their own section in our magazine.
That's right. I thought that was them on the cover. The
Yeah.
logo.
Listen, one day they will be on the cover. Trust me, because their story
Yeah.
is, and you did it. You helped them get through that. So I know that some people may want to ask you questions and everything. And we now have this forum on our website, www.thelovemanual.com. And we set up a forum for those who want to speak and discuss what you spoke about, and maybe get some tips and advice on how they can make their marriage or relationship work. But I want to know if you think that prior to getting married, of course, people should go to a counselor, is suggested, right?
Very much suggested.
Okay.
Tomorrow morning I see someone at 9 a.m. They're getting married, and
Oh,
I will tell you one of the things we do, and at some point, if you wanted, we could get into it. There's 4 behaviors
uh-huh.
that predict divorce at a rate of 94%.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll tell you what they are if you want.
Oh, yeah, I want to hear that.
Okay, okay. They are criticism,
Mhm,
defensiveness. If one of you is going to be critical, the other one's going to be defensive.
mhm.
Mel, you never put the dishes in the dishwasher. Yes, I do. I do. And next thing you know, we're hitting a ping pong ball back and forth.
Mhm.
And never get anywhere. The next one is contempt, where there's some sort of disrespect or superiority type thing, and um, contempt is the number one reason for divorce of the 4. But what's fascinating about it is it actually can affect the woman's immune system. There's been studies done that when there's contempt in a relationship, the woman's immune system is compromised, which is fascinating. And the last one is, and I am very guilty of this, it's
Uh-huh.
called stonewalling, in which 85% of men just shut down. We just stop. And when we do, the woman escalates. And the reason she does is she wants resolution. Now, The challenge in this, the condition is called flooding. The man is flooded. His heart rate is above 100 beats a minute. His oxygen level is affected, and you actually lose your ability to problem solve. It will just lead to erratic communication.
Wow.
And when that happens, it's just going to get uglier. And the antidote is, I'll tell you what research says, and I'll tell you what is said in my practice. Research says it takes 20 to 30 minutes for the man to just take a walk, listen to music, do anything but think about the problem. And he'll be able to come back and they'll be able to talk about it again. What I hear in my practice is when I ask the man how long they need, and that's not to say women don't get flooded too, but men clearly do. And the most common answer I hear is we need an hour. I need an hour. And the woman, and I've seen well over 1,000 couples, literally 100% of them said, John, I am fine if he needs an hour. I am fine with that.
Right.
The problem is he doesn't come back.
Okay. Ooh.
And this, in this structure, in this counseling, I can say to the man, okay, I bought you the hour, but you gotta come back. And they agree to it, and they both agree, because when someone is flooded, there's nothing good going to come out of it. Nothing. It's not going to get anywhere. So it's, and again, there's a lot of research that talks about it, but it's a tough thing. And but in premarital counseling, one of the things we do is address those 4 behaviors and how we fix them. I'll say that I'm the critical one. I am the critical one, and my wife was always late, and literally every day she'd come walking the door, and I'd say, "You're late again. You're late. You never do what you say you're going to do. You always have an excuse." And she would naturally be defensive, and because of my training, I questioned everything I was taught. And the key words are, say it in a way your partner can hear it. Right. So here it was. She was late, and I thought, okay, say it in a way she can hear it. And I think about it, and I say, she comes walking in the door, and I said, honey, when you come walking in the door on time, I don't worry about you. I don't worry that you got hurt at work. Yes. I don't worry that you got into a car accident. I because of my health, I don't know what I'd do without you. And she was incredible in her response, one in defensiveness. She, without even knowing, she was following this model of say it in a way you can hear it, in defensiveness, accepting some responsibility. She said, I know I'm late. I know I get late, and I know I get distracted. I never knew you worried about it. But how about I text you when I'm leaving the office, and I'll be home in 25 minutes. Well, Mel, I said, that would be great. That fight was every day 7 years ago.
Wow.
I could send you, show on the screen the text today and said, on my way home. So we don't have that fight anymore.
Yeah, that is wow, John. You know what? You just taught a lot of people something, because you're right. It's the way that you word these things. And this is the reason why when I have Sally or Leslie on, I'm pretty sure I'm going to say, okay, we're going to call John because we need John to answer this question. But I so appreciate you being on today and giving these good tips and advice for people that are struggling or before they get married, what they need to know. So if you would like, please join us in the forum. Of course, we're going to be answering questions. And John, it was such a pleasure to have you, John.
Thank you, Mel. It's great to talk to you. Great to talk to you.
I know, John. You're amazing. And thank you so much. And I'm going to see you in a couple minutes on the forum, right?
I won't move.
All right, John. Well,
All
please.
right.
Yes, I'll see you soon. Thank you, John,
Okay.
so much.
Thank you. See you
right.
later.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. He's amazing. So please go to the forum, www.thelovemanual.com, and join the page, join website. Go to the forum, ask some questions. Don't forget to watch this on YouTube. It's going to be a replay. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like and share. And then hit the bell so that way you'll know when I'm on the air. And check out our Facebook page. You'll love it. Instagram, Twitter. I mean, we're all over the place. And thank you guys so much. On the next episode, of course, like we discussed, I'm going to be talking to Solly and Leslie, who is a couple of Johns who he's coached. And you guys are going to be amazed at this story. I was amazed at what I heard. So please don't forget to tune in. And thank you for joining me this evening. I'm Mel, your host of the Love Manual, and I will see you soon. Bye.